Barnstable this morning. This morning we have a special library segment. We are here at the Sturgis Library with Jenny Wiley. You are the Cotuit Library Director. We're also here with Marcella Curry, and you are the Adult and Reference Services Librarian right here at Sturgis. Wanted to have you guys on today because one of the reasons I love the library segment on our show is because I love books. And I think coming up to a holiday season, many of us are going to be taking time off. Maybe we're going to be thinking about buying some books for some special people in our lives. I love giving books for gifts.
Me too.
So wanted to chat with you guys, the specialists, so to speak, about books and what you have to recommend. Marcella, you brought a few books with you. You want to talk about one of those?
Sure. A book I read this year is Black River. And what I liked about it is it took me someplace really different. It's in Montana, and also it's told from the point of view of a man who was a corrections officer, so I felt like I was inside a very different head than my own. And at times I got frustrated with him, but the description of Montana is interesting. There's a lot of family dynamics, which I realize is a kind of theme when I look at books that I like. And it's got a good ending. There's a little bit of redemption there that I liked. So that was a good one.
And I love those character-driven stories and novels that really take us to another place, because that's really what you want to do when you're reading. You want to escape. So I think escape is a good part of that. Do you have a lot of people ask you for recommendations when they come into the library? Yeah,
sometimes people ask very directly, and sometimes, or they'll just be frustrated. I think what's always hard is someone's read something like really great, and it's hard sometimes. It's almost like you have to go through a little bit of a lull. Morning period or something, or a lull. But it's fun. I like to ask people what they've read lately and what appealed to them about it.
And do you have the same thing at the Cotuit Library?
Yeah, so we also find that a lot of times our patrons come in and they're telling us about these great books that they've read. We obviously don't have enough time to read everything. But we will gather that information and then pass it on to someone else who says, have you heard of something good lately? And that's very helpful for us to have that. But we also, when we have someone asking us for something and they can say, well, I really liked this one book, the CLAMS libraries all subscribe to something called Novelist. And you can go into Novelist from the CLAMS website or from the libraries, your particular library's website, put in a title of a book that you like, and find a bunch of read-alikes that will give you something new, a new author, a new book to try out.
I love that. That's such a great service. CLAMS really has a great website. Yes. That Cape Library Automated
materials
sharing. So it was such a wonderful thing, really reference for patrons and idea generating. I may be throwing you off topic. Maybe you guys don't know about this. I did recently see that CLAMS actually got a new app.
Oh yes, yeah. You mean the Boopsy one?
Yes.
Yes, that's fabulous. Actually, that's where I order all my books, because I tend to think about what I'm going to personally read when I'm not at work. Because at work I'm thinking about what everybody else is reading. So I'll be home and I'll hear something on the radio or see something on television and I'll be like, oh, well, that sounds interesting. And then I'll use the Boopsy app to get in there and check it out, look at what the summary is like, see how many copies, and I can order it straight from there and have it delivered to whatever library I want, which is usually mine.
Exactly. So what did you bring with us? Tell us about one of the books you brought with you today.
So the first one I'm going to start with is called The Baker's Tale, and it's based on an anecdote about when Charles Dickens, in I think it was 1836, he held a young infant in his arms who was just living in some of the worst deplorable poverty. And a lot of people have then said that's sort of why he had that penchant for that kind of, you know, the nobility of the poor. And so he doesn't actually really show up in this book. It's written sort of as his legacy, and it's based on that infant. And it follows her as she goes from poverty-stricken in the mid-19th century in London. She is able to find ways to find love and security in her life. It has a very happy ending, which I always like at Christmas time.
Right, no one really wants that depressing novel.
Nobody wants to read a sad novel, but we do often read Dickens at Christmas time when we're doing the Christmas Carol. So if you like that kind of story, this one's a good one to try. And also, if you like Neil Stephenson or Philippa Gregory, and also E.L. Doctorow as authors, this is a good choice for you. And Edward Rutherford, who writes those really great historical, where you're really immersed in that period of time, does a really good job of doing that. So.
Love it. Love it. Thank you for that recommendation.
Sure.
And you brought 3 books with you, Marcella. What's your next book choice for us?
So another one I read this year is The Children's Crusade, Ann Packer. A lot of people might remember The Dive from Clawson's Pier, which I think a film was made of that. And again, that brings me back to that theme of family dynamics. And it's in California, and it starts off right after like in the 54, this man buys a piece of land, but then it comes into a little bit more modern times because now the children are growing up and they're still figuring out with each other a lot of what happened when they were children, and you know, that idea of that idealism of both the parents and then the reality and living with that. And I thought the writing was just really wonderful, and so
something probably we can all find something to relate to.
Yes.
Very important. Do you find that a lot of people really tend to have a like a type of book that they like and that they hover towards?
They do. I always kind of worry about that a little bit because I love to like kind of go out and you know, try other things, and I always worry a little bit about labeling a book mystery because I feel like there's a lot of people who are gonna like not even look at it and vice versa. But you know, I think there's certain books sometimes that kind of can cross over and pull people into.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that what I'll see is people like a certain kind of theme or a certain, like they'll like a character-driven novel, or they'll like one that is really rich settings and place. And if you can get them to read outside of genres, if you can find what it is that they're connecting to in those books that they really like.
Right, because there are those themes in all sorts of genres. So
That's
interesting. So tell us another one of your picks, Jenny.
Well, I chose the Library of Souls, not because it says library, and it is the 3rd novel in the Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children series. The reason I chose it is a crossover book. It's a YA, a book that adults really like. And if you're looking for a gift for a teen, if you're looking for something where you and your teens, whether they're your grandchildren or your children, can connect over, this series, this 3-book series, is a fabulous way to do it. The benefit also is that there's a movie coming out by Tim Burton in March that starts at the first of these books. So if you're reading it over the Christmas holiday with your young folks in your family, you're going to really enjoy watching it then in March.
And a great way, too, I think, sometimes to get teens excited about reading. There's a movie coming out that you'll want to see. They know it must be a good book if they've made a movie about it. So a great way to get teens excited, and this may be a good thing to stick in a stocking.
It is, and one of the things that's so unique about the book is that part of the story is told through these vintage photographs that the author has collected from collections around the world, and so it's not graphic novel, but the story is partially told by, and they're all quirky photos. They're just very strange little photos. So it's a nice way to connect.
Love it. Love that, bringing people together through, you guys both, I think they're both libraries, the Sturgis Library as well as the Cotuit Library. You both have some book clubs. Yes. How do your book clubs run? Do you select the book, or do you have patrons suggest titles? How does that work?
Yeah, the one we have right now, there's a group that has pulled together. It's open to more people joining, and they pretty much run their group, and they decide what they want, and they come to the staff to see how accessible the book is, because sometimes they're digging into some unusual titles, and we work with the Commonwealth catalog to get things from outside of the clams if we need to.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have a couple. We have a mystery, we have a historical novel club that meets. We have a general fiction club. We have a short story club, which has taken off, because sometimes people are not ready to commit to a full novel a month, but a couple of short stories they feel like they can fit in between stuff. And then we had one that started out as a Jane Austen book club and has changed. Then it changed. We started reading classics, and now we're reading novels that have been made into PBS or masterpiece
Oh,
theater
wonderful.
movies. So we'll read the book and we watch the movie and then we compare them.
Do you guys find that you have a lot of patrons wanting to join in with the book clubs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a pretty good sized group that shows up, and it sounds like you have a lot.
Yeah, we pack our back art room pretty good for some of them. Some of them are a little small. You know, they ebb. In the winters, they ebb. I don't know if yours do. But we have a good number of people who leave in that January, February, March period, and we still have people who meet, but it explodes from the summer to the fall.
Wonderful, so exciting. And you have a third book you brought with us. Let's talk about that third book recommendation.
I do. A lot of people may have heard of her, but I'm still surprised that people haven't heard of Louise Penny. This is one of those books that's in the mystery genre. Yeah. I think this is number 11. Yeah. They're called Inspector Gamache novels. They take place in a little village in Quebec. And so you just get transported to this place where I just want to go stay in the bed and breakfast and sit around with everybody and have the drinks they're drinking and all of that. But meanwhile, there's a very interesting mystery going on, but there's also a lot of dynamics going on around how do people connect with each other, how do they communicate, and also on the detectives, you know, what they have to struggle with. And so there's really a lot to them. And this was her latest, and sometimes I find with series, I get a little like, oh, okay, I'm done with that, but this is still going strong, it seems like.
See, love that. Love to hear that. And I'm one of those people I think you would have mentioned earlier that really, I think, oh, I'm not a mystery person, so I'm not going to pick up mysteries. But the way you described this book, it sounds like there's a lot more than just the mystery. There's a lot of dynamics going on and stuff to keep everybody's attention.
Yeah. Right. I really love her ability to draw you into that sense of place, so you feel like you're a part of that village. And I think for some people who are afraid of mystery or not really interested, that draws them into her series. So.
Love it. I'm definitely going to have to pick that up. And then you have a third recommendation as well, Jenny?
I do, and it's funny because this one is also a part of a large series. This is the first of 12 books. It is not new, but it is new to a lot of people because Masterpiece began a new series with it just over the summer. It's called Poldark. It's the first of the 12. It's written by Winston Graham, and it is a historical novel. Certain read-alikes would be like John Jakes or Penny Vincenzi, also Pearl S. Buck, The Good Earth. Those are often, you can sort of compare those to this one. It tells the story of a man who's coming home from war. He has found that the woman that he loves has become engaged to his cousin, and his father died, and his family business of mining has pretty much crumbled to the ground. And he has to sort of work his way through. And the 12 novels span several generations of the family.
Wonderful. Love that stuff when you can find something that you like that you can just keep going, because sometimes you just want some more. More.
Yeah.
So these are all great recommendations, and of course anyone can stop in the library and chat with a librarian about some more recommendations as well.
Yes.
You know, thank you ladies so much for sitting down with me today. I really appreciate it. And
it was fun.
I
got some good ideas.
Yeah, no, I did too. To pick up the penny.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to write down all the titles and let everybody know, give everyone a copy of the list. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was lots of fun.
Okay, thanks.
And of course, we were chatting today with Jenny Wiley, the library director for the Cotuit Library, and Marcella Curry. She is the Adult and Reference Services Librarian here at the Sturgis Library. For Barnstable This Morning, I'm Sarah Mannel.